Hey everyone, Scott with the Scottman. We're here to do a drone video today. We're going to be heading west on Interstate 69 today, going from where it begins over by the Blue Water Bridge, and we're going to head all the way to I-75 in Flint. So it is a beautiful day out today, mostly sunny out. My car thermometer is reading 69 degrees Fahrenheit. If you convert that to Celsius, it's around 21 degrees, so quite nice, I have to say. Matter of fact, just before I started this video, I walked outside, or walked a little bit outside over by the Blue Water Bridge and along the St. Clair River. Just really enjoyed the breeze over there. So yeah, not too long ago, I recently uploaded an I-69 West video going from I-75 in Flint all the way to I-96 in the Lansing area. So this is kind of a continuation of it, although you can see it's like a prequel because we're going up to where we started that video. So right now we're on a concurrency along with I-94, because at the Blue Water Bridge, which is the international border crossing going over into Canada, over into Sarnia, that's where I-69 I-94 began. And on the other side of the border, it becomes the 402 highway, which goes east and west through Ontario from Sarnia all the way to London, Ontario, before it meets the 401, which is the main freeway, which goes from Windsor up all the way up to Toronto, then continues on toward Montreal. At some point too, I almost should do a 994 West video, but I'll probably do that another day. But I do need to get over, because to continue on I-69, we got to get off at this ramp here, because if you were to continue to the left, that is I-94, and that will take you down into Metro Detroit and eventually into Detroit. So what's pretty cool is that you got the two freeways which go out of the Port Huron area, and of course from the Blue Water Bridge. So if you're going to Chicago, or if you're going to Indiana, this I would say would be your best route, because I-69 avoids going through Detroit. Although you can technically continue on I-94, go that way too, because you can get to the same areas that way as well. But again, this is a lot faster. However, if you're going into Metro Detroit, Ann Arbor, or if you're going down to Ohio, you will want to take I-94 down toward Detroit. That way it would be a lot faster. But if you're going to Lapeer, to Flint, or like to Lansing, you would want to be taking I-69, which is what we're doing today. So up until we get into the Flint area, this is pretty much going to be rural. So we get to see a little bit, or not a little bit, a lot of the Michigan countryside in this video. And the upcoming exit, this is Wadham's Road, which is kind of like, I don't want to say it's like the western boundary of Port Huron, because it's a little away from the city limits of Port Huron, but it's kind of runs north and south, like to the west of the Port Huron area. You can also take it south going down to I-94, because there's an exit for Wadham's Road on I-94 as well. Even though I'm sure I talked about this in my other I-69 West video that I did, or that I uploaded a few weeks ago, but I filmed I think a month ago, originally started in the Port Huron area, like where we began the video, and originally ended all the way in the northeastern end of Indianapolis. However, they're currently planning to extend it all the way down to Mexico. So they've been working on extending it and working on extensions all throughout the United States. It's going to be a very long time. I'm talking at least a decade, if not more, to get it all the way down to Mexico. Because the goal is basically, I think they're calling it like the NAFTA superhighway or something, because it connects Canada with Mexico with having only one route. But past Indianapolis, they only have certain stretches constructed. About that in a second. Yeah, right here you got the exit for Taylor Road, and now putting the way toward the to like the Goodles area, where there's the St. Clair County Fair, or the St. Clair County Fairgrounds. I remember back when I was a kid, my late grandmother, like, she took me there because she was hosting a dog show there. So I remember going to that when I was a little kid. Anyway, getting back to what I was talking about. So the current stretches of I-69 they've completed so far, either because they built new highway or they upgrade existing highways to freeway standards or interstate standards, or they designated again existing highways as an Interstate 69. So right now it's like they built the extension of I-69 in southern Indiana going down to Evansville. They just have to build the interchange on the south side of Indianapolis now, and then it'll run along the eastern end of the loop, the 465 loop around Indianapolis. And then they got freeways in Kentucky where they've designated that as I-69, but they still got to build like the freeway portion like around the Evansville area with the crossing going over the Ohio River. And then there's a small stretch of I-69 in the Memphis area, and then goes briefly in the northwest Mississippi as it heads southwest of South Haven, Mississippi. And then the next stretch of I-69 is in the greater Houston area. So there's a freeway. There is the 59 freeway that goes through Houston. Like the freeway starts around the Cleveland, Texas area. Because US Highway 59 runs north and south from Mexico all the way up to Canada. As it goes up, it goes from Laredo, Texas, all the way up to northern Minnesota. As it crosses over into Manitoba in Canada, it continues its way up toward Winnipeg. Or wait, maybe not Winnipeg, but I have to check on that one. It might be thinking of a different U.S. highway that goes up toward Winnipeg. 59 might, or if not, at least it goes to Manitoba. But anyway, so U.S. Highway 59 is a freeway in the Houston metropolitan area from like Cleveland, Texas, going all the way through Houston down toward Kendleton, Texas, which is to the southwest as you continue right down to Victoria. So they've pretty much designated that entire stretch as I-69 going through Houston, although Houstonians still refer to the freeway as 59. But they are expanding, or they're upgrading 59 like beyond those stretches to freeway standards as it continues north up toward like Lufkin, Texas, eventually going up toward Louisiana. That's going to take a while though. And then after that, and of course going to the southwest, going down toward Victoria, Texas. And then what it's going to do once it gets down toward the Victoria area is that the future I-69 is going to branch off into 3 directions. There's going to be an I-69 West, an I-69 Central, and an I-69 East. So I-69 West is going to generally follow along US Highway 59 all the way down to Laredo. And then there is a small freeway section in Laredo, which is now designated as I-69 West, and it goes over to the border to like just west of Nuevo Laredo, which is the Mexican side of the border. And then there's going to be I-69 Central, which will break off of, I think, I-69 West, and that'll continue down toward McAllen, Texas. And there's even a small stretch of I-69 Central, or I-69C, which is down in the McAllen, Texas area. That, I don't think, is supposed to cross over the international lines. I think that just goes, we're supposed to just go down to Interstate 2, which is the freeway which runs parallel with the Rio Grande River. Like near like McAllen, Far, and then eventually to Brownsville, Texas. And then you're going to have the eastern stretch of I-69, which is I-69 East or I-69E. That's going to fall along the current US Highway 77. Which goes south from Victoria, going down to like Refugio, Texas, and then it goes just to the west of Corpus Christi. There's even a brief stretch of I-69 East in like the Robstown, Texas area, which is west of Corpus Christi, over by where I-37 is. And then the freeway ends there. They'll eventually will expand or upgrade the highway there to continue as a freeway. And then once you get down to Raymondville, Texas, then it becomes I-69 East, I-69E, and it's a freeway going all the way down to Brownsville, and then the freeway goes across the Rio Grande River into Mexico, into Matamoros, Mexico. So that's the other international crossing. So there's going to be a total of 3 international crossings down there. Well, 2, because I-69 Central or I-69C, I don't think it's supposed to cross over international lines. Although you never know, they could do that at some point, going over toward Reynosa, Mexico. But we'll have to wait and see about that one. So that's basically what they're planning to do with I-69. But yeah, there's still a lot of work they got to do. It's going to take a lot of time because they got to upgrade existing highways in East Central Texas to freeway standards. And then I'm trying to think after that. And then of course cross over in the northwest Louisiana. And eventually hook up with the existing I-69 in Memphis area, like northern Mississippi and then southwest Tennessee. Oh, this is the exit for M19, which M19 going south will take you down to Memphis, Michigan. Funny how I'm talking about Memphis, Tennessee, and now I'm talking about Memphis, Michigan, and down to Richmond and then New Haven, and then it ends at I-94. And then M19 north heads up towards Sandusky, Michigan. So then there's more stuff in western Tennessee they got to do to hook it up with the existing freeway, like going up as you go up toward like Mayville, Kentucky, in that area. And of course, and then there's the bridge over near Evansville, Indiana, and then as we speak, they're building the interchange with I-465 in the south part of Indiana. goes all the way down to Mexico, but not quite. It connects over with Interstate 5 in the San Diego area. However, Interstate 5 runs from Canada to Mexico as you cross over into Mexico toward Tijuana, over in the San Isidro area of California to the south of San Diego, and then Interstate 5 goes all the way up toward, of course, through California, through Oregon, and then eventually up towards Seattle, Washington, and then continue north toward Bellingham, Washington, and then it crosses over the border into British Columbia as the freeway heads up toward Vancouver. Trying to think about the any other major freeways which cross international lines on both ends, but I think those are probably it, because I-25 only goes down toward like Las Cruces, New Mexico, and then eventually links up with I-10 to go down toward El Paso. And yeah, this is Riley Center Road here for this exit. Interstate 35 almost is another one, however, because it has a international crossing down in Laredo. Although I think with I-35, I think there are at-grade intersections before going across the border into Mexico. And then I-35 almost gets up to Canada, because it goes as far north as Duluth, Minnesota, but then it continues as a non-freeway heading up toward Ontario. And I-35 officially ends in Duluth. And of course I-75 goes up toward Sault Ste. Marie, crosses over to Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and Canada. However, it doesn't go to Mexico. It goes down toward the Miami area. Same goes with I-95, which of course goes across into New Brunswick, up in northeast Maine, and then it goes all the way to the south, like south of Miami, down toward Homestead, Florida. However, the freeway ends there and it becomes Highway 1, and then goes all the way to Key West, which basically ends in Key West. And Key West, Florida is closer to Cuba than it is Mexico. So yeah, currently, so Interstate 5 is the only freeway which is consistent from, or runs consistently all the way from Canada to Mexico, and I-69 is going to be the next one. And I-15 comes very close. So yeah, that's the overall topic about Interstate 69 and of course international crossings, freeways connecting Canada with Mexico. So this exit coming up here, this is Capac Road, which goes up to the town of Capac, which is here in the western end of St. Clair County. Which, yeah, I've driven through Capac before. It's not really a whole lot to it. It's not like going through like Lapeer or Imlay City, which are the next larger, like, but small cities going west along I-69. Because between Port Huron and Flint, so again, you got Capac, but again, it's not all that big. But it's like you got three like smaller cities, but they're not really all that big. It's like you got, coming up, we're going to have Imlay City, then Lapeer, then Davison, and then we get into the Flint area. Burton's a part of the Flint area. Although Davison even considered that to be a part of Flint too, like at the far eastern end. Yeah, so far traffic has not been that busy. But it is a Sunday morning, which I'm filming this, so that could be part of the reason. So for where we are right now, we got 8 miles to Imlay City and 40 miles to Flint, so we got a ways to go before we get to the Flint area. So this is going to be a longer driving video. This is probably be almost a good hour. Here's the first rest area along I-69. But yeah, overall this is a nice route, especially because it does avoid the Metro Detroit area where things can get a little congested, although it's usually not too bad on a Sunday. Talk about this in all my different driving videos, but yeah, playing some different trips coming up ahead, whether it's like bigger trips or like weekend trips or long weekend trips. And as I'm filming this video, oh, that's a cool looking Corvette. So a weekend from now, as I'm filming this video, I'm gonna be heading back to Boston for like a long weekend. So for like Memorial Day weekend. Because yeah, there's some more content I would like to film out in that area. And right here we are now crossing over into Lapeer County, getting out of St. Clair County. Yeah, the pavement's been pretty nice so far, because I do know they have done a lot of road work on I-69 between Flint and Port Huron. Because there are some stretches that were pretty bad. So it's nice that they have made some repairs finally. So anyway, I'd be back over to the Boston area, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed because the weather is looking pretty good this time. Because I went to Boston 3 years ago on Memorial Day weekend, and it rained most of the time. So yeah, even though I've been to Boston since then, but at least I'm getting a little, again, keeping my fingers crossed, but I think it might be getting a little bit of redemption after that trip. So I got that coming up, and then sometime in the middle of June, I'll be doing a weekend trip somewhere. I'm not going to really say anything yet, but I'm sure I'll probably have some type of a video or something of it or something. But I'm going to some type of a meetup involving like content creators. But I'm not going to really say anything else just because it's not really public information or anything. But I will say this, I will be flying out on a Friday night sometime in June and then returning on the Sunday. But yeah, really looking forward to doing that, but yeah. I'll probably say more like once it happens. So there's that, and then 4th of July weekend, I still gotta think about what I want to do for that weekend. It's like I'd love to do something in northern Michigan, but that's when everybody else goes up north. So it's like not a good idea unless I like congested traffic. this exit here, this is M-53. So that's the exit for Imlay City. I gotta get over, yeah, people getting on the freeway. So yeah, it's like, unfortunately for the next like 30-35 minutes of this video, maybe half hour, you're going to deal with nasty looking bug guts on the right side of the dashboard. But thankfully it's all the way over to the right. So it could have been a lot worse. It could have been like right in front of this video. Anyway, that was M53. That's the main highway which goes up through the thumb region of Michigan. Talk about that in a second, but yeah, for where we are right now, we got 14 miles to Lapeer, 33 miles to Flint. So right now, we're probably about halfway between Port Huron and Flint. So M53 continues north, well, first to Imlay City, then it continues north up toward Brown City, eventually up to Bad Axe, and then it finishes up at M25 in Port Austin, which is around the tip of the thumb of Michigan. And you take M53 south, you'll go down to Almont, Michigan, then down to Romeo, then eventually get down to Sterling Heights and Warren, and then it ends up in the eastern side of Detroit, over at I-94. It's interesting how all these different highways go all the way down to I-94. So for people coming from the Metro Detroit area, M53 is your direct route north up toward Port Austin. Although it's not as scenic as M25, which M25 runs parallel along the shores of Lake Huron, going through like communities like Lexington, Port Sanilac, Harbor Beach, and then it heads up to Port Austin that way. And it takes a lot longer, but it's a lot more beautiful of a route. But yeah, for 4th of July weekend, it's like kind of narrowing things down a little bit. It's like one trip idea I would like to do is like go to like the Seattle, Washington, because I've always wanted to get out to Seattle. And then what I like to do as well too is go over to like the Olympic Peninsula. I'd love to check out Olympic National Park, because it's supposed to be absolutely beautiful over there. And then another trip idea would be like to Minneapolis, because we'd like to see more of Minnesota, because so far I've only been to Duluth, and that was when I was driving from Michigan all the way over to the North and South Dakota. I did that trip like 4 years ago. And it looks like this is where the pavement's not so good. So I'll be curious if they'll eventually work on this at some point. So if this exit here, this is Lake Pleasant Road. We're kind of near like the village called Attica. Which yeah, Attica is like to the north on Lake Pleasant Road. It's not really all that big or anything. If you go south on Lake Pleasant Road, I think it ends at Sutton Road, but then you just go like maybe like a quarter of a mile to the east at that intersection. Then that's where Rochester Road begins, and that heads all the way down to Rochester, Troy, and then Royal Oak, Michigan. So it goes down to Metro Detroit. Good news is that whenever they decide to resurface that part of I-69, it's only a short stretch. even though it's like I'm supposed to be doing like a long weekend trip down to Costa Rica in August, but I'm not going to really say a whole lot just yet because the trip is supposed to happen, but it's like the tour organization I was going to visit, I'm going on a group trip for that. The original organization, the trip ended up getting canceled just this past week, but it's supposed to be being handled now by someone else, so the trip's supposed to go on almost regardless. But I just have to wait on details for new bookings and things like that, so I don't really want to talk about a whole lot with that just yet. All I know is just supposed to be for like a long weekend, which should be pretty cool. And then Labor Day weekend, I don't even know what I'm doing yet. I definitely like to go somewhere. And then I'm currently eyeballing a big international trip that's gonna be like 2 weeks, maybe like either a week and a half or 2 weeks long, sometime in late September, early October. But I don't even know where I'm planning to go to yet. Or better yet, even what continent yet. Significantly after leaving the area by like the Blue Water Bridge with the St. Clair River. Oh, here's the Flint River here. My current thermometer is now saying 80 degrees Fahrenheit, or in Celsius, that's around like 27 degrees. So it has warmed up significantly since we left Port Huron. So yeah, it's supposed to be a pretty hot day here, and it's not even Memorial Day yet. Although the humidity's not supposed to be high or anything here today. But I think we may even get a chance of thunderstorms later today. Doesn't look like it right now, but you can barely see it with the haze far off to the west, but I can see a couple of small cumulus clouds. So it's like clouds are starting to form a little bit. Let me get over. Yeah, some of this roadkill here has been pretty nasty. That one wasn't as bad as that first one we passed up, further back. So this next exit up here, this is M-24, which is another major north and south highway going through the thumb of Michigan. It doesn't go quite to the tip of the thumb or anything, at least not directly. But M-24 is your main exit to go into Lapeer. M-24 north first goes through Lapeer, and then it continues its way north up toward Cairo, Michigan, and then it ends at M-25 in Unionville. And then M-24 going south, Auburn Hills area, over where the Palace of Auburn Hills used to be, which was where the Detroit Pistons played basketball before they moved to downtown Detroit into the Little Caesars Arena. Okay, so we got 10 more miles until we get to Davison, 19 miles until we get to Flint, and then if we were to go all the way to Lansing, we have another 71 miles. And then where M-24 ends, so you got a connector going to I-75, but then the highway, Lapeer Road, continues south past there, and it goes into Pontiac, Michigan. things are gonna start to look a little less rural in a little bit. Going into this video, just because like this stretch compared to the stretch we filmed the last time going from Flint to Lansing, this is a longer stretch. And yep, now we're starting to get into the Davison area. So technically M15 is another highway which goes north and south through the thumb of Michigan, but more like the western end of it. Here's the exit for M15, which M15 heads north up into Davison, and then from there it continues north up toward Otisville, then Millington, then Vassar. Then from Vassar it heads northwest up toward Bay City, and then it ends at M25. Direction heading south, that'll take you down to Ortonville and then to Clarkston, where it meets up with I-75, but it continues south from I-75 going into downtown Clarkston, and then it ends at US Highway 24 or Dixie Highway in the Clarkston area. Just as I was saying earlier, it's like once you get into the Davison area, now this is where we're getting in, starting to get into the Flint metropolitan area a little bit, because we're only 9 miles away from downtown Flint and then 61 miles from Lansing. As we're seeing now, exits and interchanges are becoming more plentiful. Because this exit here, this is Irish Road. It's like you got a Meyer over here. You even have a Culver's and different fast food restaurants. So we're starting to get it. Oh, there's even a Menards here. See, we're starting to get into the outskirts of Flint. But yeah, off camera, I'm going to start heading back down to Metro Detroit once I get to I-75. goes through the eastern part of Burton, and then it continues south to the eastern part of Grand Blanc as well too. Just realized I haven't had some water in a while, so I should probably drink some. Oh, over here at the Belsey Road, you got a Walmart over here too. Okay, yeah, that's a lot better. Alright, so we probably got like another several minutes left to go in this video. Because yeah, we're slowly starting to approach the city limits for Flint, although not for like another mile or two. Oh yeah, they got a lot of construction up ahead, but thankfully not on I-69. So we got the exit for Center Road here, which you got a big shopping center over in this area. Like you got Planet Fitness, JCPenney, see a Joanne, there's Dunham Sports. And then crossing over Center Road, we are now in the city limits for Flint. Oh wow, looks like a big fair or something going on there. Oh, I see like a lot of classic cars. So they got like a classic car festival going on at the Dordt Financial Center off to the left. So this exit here, this is Dordt Highway or M-25, which runs through the eastern part of Flint. And of course you can take that south down toward the Grand Blanc area before it ends at I-75. And then M-25 north continues up toward Clio. And here's Dordt Highway here. The interchange for I-475. I-475 is the freeway which breaks off from I-75 and goes closer to Flint than I-75 does. So I-475 north is a shortcut to get up to I-75 north. Although currently, as I'm filming this video, it's under construction. It's completely closed right now. I-475 south is a quicker way to get to I-75 south. And then Saginaw Street, the exit here, that will take you into downtown Flint. So we should have like another 2 or 3 miles left to go. of the automotive industry left Flint, there's still a little bit left here. Because you got a big plant for GM off to the left there. I do need to get over. Yep, there it is off to the left. The GM Flint assembly plant. Alright, and here's the exit for I-75/US 23. So if we were to continue west on I-69 going west, we would continue on the left fork there, and that'll get you to where I did the last I-69 west video, going all the way toward the Lansing area. I need to get back over. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video here on I-69 west, going from where it begins over by the Blue Water Bridge, or M-25 in Port Huron, all the way over to I-75 here in Flint. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to click that like button. Don't forget to click that subscribe button